Okay, Cherry Blossom family, it is another Friday with friends. We have the best effing guests on the planet, and we continue that tradition today. We got Luke Gavin with Owls Oils. Owls Oils. I will give a brief intro on him, but this guy's been in the game for, 5 to 10 years, somewhere like that. Just putting out quality product, focusing on not just on him and his vision, but he is really customer focused. He wants what his customers want. He wants to put out quality products to meet the demand of what discerning customers, I should say, are looking for. So Luke, on that note, please introduce yourself. Tell us about you and your story and your background and what led you to founding Owls Oils.
Thank you. Very, very humble. Thank you for the intro. So, first of all, look, I came here from Ireland. When it's funny now when you talk about how long this has been, it's like, yeah, God, I've been in this cannabis industry now for like 10 plus years, and coming from Ireland, this is really a dream come true for me. I started off on the medical marijuana side in Massachusetts, had delivery services over there. We made multitude of products, and what was happening is that we were making superior products and the laws were changing, and we're doing our best to remain legal. And it was just beginning, we're going lobbying and doing our best to get everybody together. And Massachusetts was just very hard to do business in. And so didn't want to wait 4 years while they figured out all the regulations. So we ended up moving to Oregon. And we were always focused on providing superior products that were tested, that were safe, safe for children in terms of protecting them from getting into them, and just going above and beyond to make products that were super effective, but that at the same time, people had respect for the fact that, hey, we want to do this sustainably, right? We ideally don't want plastic that's going to, destroy our oceans. Ideally, we don't want to have, just products that are this one-time use and just, it really is old news when it comes to trying to create products that don't have more meaning to it than just,
How about that?
It's all good. That don't have any meaning to it apart from the fact we're just trying to make money. And so, here at Owls, we are focused on knowledge and education, right? Think of the owl, right? The owl can see in the darkness. The owl has a lot of knowledge. The owl is wise. And so that's what we really try to embody here is we are really our own, we're in our own category. And that's what we're trying to do. Just stay true to us, stay true to ourselves.
And it's crazy because I feel like a lot of people say that, and it's like, well, we want to be true to ourselves or true to this game or true to this industry. But where the rubber hits the road, kind of like there's a disconnect. We don't ever get that impression from you. You started off selling me hats off to everybody who's making an attempt in this industry right now, or even trying to sticking to their dreams. Is you got to believe in yourself. And it's really tough. Look, 9 out of 10 businesses in the first 5 years are going to fail. And then of those 10% of businesses that get through, 90% of those will fail in the next 5 years. So in 10 years time, you're really talking about a 1% chance of you being very successful. And so, and then you just add on, by the way, we're in a new emerging cannabis industry. You don't have banking, payment processing, all of these hoops we got to jump through. And it's incredibly difficult. And so I really just think everybody's trying to do their best, right? Yeah. Everybody's trying to do their best. And if we can all be supporting one another, like what you're doing right now, right? Hosting these interviews and educating people and just doing our best to recognize there's a whole lot of disinformation out there. And we're right now all trying to heal it together. Yeah. And so that's us in a nutshell, right? And that's why I feel we're very aligned together. Plus, we're in this whole small business entrepreneurial, I believe, revolution. And not just from the last 2 years from people quitting their jobs for COVID reasons or whatever. I think this has been happening probably for the last 5 to 10 years. People just really wanted to pursue something more geared to them and their mission and who they are. So like you said, I want to express and represent me,
not whatever this guy up on high who doesn't know anything about me or half the temp time about his customers, tells me to say or do, So I think that's very important, very important.
Yeah, and I do believe like we're finally getting to see the results right now of like the internet, right? Of 20 years, the freedom of information, how we're all able to share more information, how we're all learning together. And now it's sort of created this possibility where people believe more and more that, oh, I can be independent. I can do my own thing. I can live my own life the way I want to. And that doesn't need to be defined by, what my parents said, what my government says, what any of these things are. It's like, try your best. I think we're all doing our best to just stay true to ourselves. And hey, if that's you working for as an employee in another job, good for you. As long as that's what's good for you and that's what you want. Right. And it's not like, hey, I'm doing this thing that I hate. I don't want to be here, but I'm doing it anyway because I'm afraid that if I leave, I won't have X, Y, Z. I really do believe that we need to be focusing in on the love, right? And loving ourselves, right? Loving ourselves first, and rather than the fear around, I love myself, I can't do this job that I hate. Right. I can't do that because, and the fear of, well, if I don't have it leads to X, Y, Z, that's irrelevant because like, I want to trust in myself, want to trust up above that, like I'm looked after. And at the end of the day here, no one wants to live a miserable life, that they're unhappy. And so that's what I think. And all this stuff with COVID, all of this is really just an opportunity where we're all got to get to know ourselves.
Yeah.
We all had to be alone for a little bit and just got to really like the egg sort of breaking out of the egg.
Quiet enough for long enough. We listen to
be quiet. Yeah. And now it's like no more distractions. No more like, oh, I'm gonna go out and just like party all weekend because I just like hate my job. It's like, oh no, I'm here by myself and I'm at home and like I need to start really reconsidering what's meaningful in my life. Right. Is it just money or is it family? Is it, friendships? Is it like, doing things that bring me joy, right? Whatever it is. And so, and I think cannabis is really something that helps with all of that, right? Helps with the anxiety, helps with the stress. And we're in this fascinating age now where hemp is just exploded. And hemp is now basically, it's like hemp is there's 165 different cannabinoids that have been identified so far. And like marijuana is like, we want THC and we want THCA.
That's it.
We'll take the other 165. We'll take the other 163 cannabinoids. Thank you very much. That is doing stuff from THCV is almost like a caffeine replacement / almost like an Adderall replacement at high doses. You're talking about CBN at high doses can be an Ambien replacement, right? Like these are billion-dollar industries. And I just think there's far more than just like getting people high.
This is funny that you're saying this because like, as I sit here and we talked to a few minutes in our green room time about like our new products. So this is not like some sort of commercial for us or anything, but like the same things you're talking about right now. Like, these are our new carts with the CBN, you know what I mean? And this has, the CBG and the THCV. Can you see it?
Great. Look at that.
So like we're just trying to do it, you know what I mean? And kind of focus in. This is just a regular straight live resin, but I can never figure out where the heck my camera is over here. But I think these minor cannabinoids, like we've embraced it, and I think they're fantastic. I think that sometimes like, we kind of embrace the fact that not everybody really wants to be high all the time. Sometimes they do. But there's room for all of us out there in this entire industry. And I believe hemp has more to offer than like there's more reasons you could 100 people, you can take a room full of 100 people. And there's more reasons for all those people to try hemp than they try THC, try cannabis.
Totally. And at the end of the day, grandma who's bought into the Reefer Madness for years is not interested in trying a 30% THC flower, right? Like grandma wants to try maybe a little bit of CBD and not get too high. And so there's definitely room for us all. And it's important to recognize that having that abundance mindset is important, right? It's not like we need to take it all for ourselves. And no, we need to be sharing more. We need to be doing our best to educate people and recognize that there's so many cannabinoids. Like it's fascinating. And don't even get me started on the terpenes, right? And like what they do. And then coming back to the live resin there, right? It's like you're getting these just like such an abundance of terpenes, and it's just a really flavorful experience that really helps you to unlock you know, the CB1, CB2 receptors in your brain that is effectively being worked on together with the terpenes and the cannabinoids, and it's just helping you deal with the anti-inflammatory properties and just bringing you that little bit of relief that we're all looking for. But sometimes,
I'm telling you, man, it's been a miracle, and I didn't, you know, the cannabis brings us all here. Let's be honest. Like you know, no one started smoking hemp when you were 14 or whatever. You know? Maybe this generation might. Who knows? You know? What I mean?
Sure.
But yeah, you know, and the cannabis brought us all here because maybe you were looking for something else, or you just happened to stumble into it, and it's opened up a whole new world. You know, like wow, like I can get everything I want, or I can one-to-one. You know, it makes it so versatile. You know, I've been telling people have been putting like funnel in like these dried tobacco stuff. And like, well, if you're doing that because you're looking for a relaxing aspect from the tobacco, but hemp, this thing that like these two plants are in the same botanical family. Like you don't really have.
They are the same. It's literally the same plant. It is
essentially the same plant.
Yeah.
You know, you don't have like rose people going against geranium people. Like they all work together. Like you see.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I think that there is room for both of us in the same boat, you know?
Yeah, big time. And also the crossover is often like a lot of the innovation that happens is really on the hemp side. Like the marijuana side is really narrow focus. Like we do extractions, we do purifications, but that's predominantly it. Like on the hemp side, it's like scale, far bigger than anything cannabis related.
Yes.
Conversions. And then not only that, but also just the study of hemp products far exceeds a lot of the THC. And so, and then of course you got the fibers and everything else, but it's just such a larger industry than just focusing on one compound that gets people high. And there's just so many other ways to do it. And it's also not one size fits all. Like you're saying, for me personally, I love Delta 8 because when I'm going throughout my day, I'm never being a Delta 9 smoker that like was motivated to do anything, right? Like I smoke, I'm a couch potato, I'm chilling out, I'm turning off. I'm not like trying to have business meetings and like, it doesn't work for me. It doesn't really work like that for Delta 9 flower. I am very much turning off. And that's how I've connected with the plant over my years, in my teenage years, even growing up. It was always like, we're hanging out with the guys, getting high, watching some movies, playing some video games. There was never like a thought process around like, I'm getting super like, you know, excited and creative and going to go start my work day. It was always towards the end of the day for me. Delta 8 though, or even some CBD with some nice marijuana derived terpenes. That's really nice. It's just something that gives you the little bit of a head change, but not so much so that you're like thinking too much or that you have anxiety or anything like that. And so it's definitely been wonderful for a lot of people that don't want to get so high, and Delta 8 is just a really nice replacement.
Well, let's talk about that, because like you started selling mainly hemp derived distillate, and you're probably progressing to selling like oils infused with Delta 8, or that's a funny way to say that. It's not really infused with Delta 8. It's kind of like the Delta 8 sort of.
Well, it is now. I mean, look, we're infusing back the Delta 8 into the flower. This can now give you a psychoactive effect that is going to be less potent than marijuana, more potent than CBD.
Yeah.
That for a lot of people gets them just at the sweet spot.
Right.
Not too strong, not too light. And access, right? Access is one of the most important things, where like a lot of people don't have any access.
They say it's like here down, and like you don't get a lot of the paranoia that happens, like, you know, in the head. I'm a sativa guy when it comes to cannabis. I can smoke all day because I somehow the sativas work with me. I can't smoke indicas all day. I'll be doing the same thing you're doing. But somehow I can smoke sativa and I can just keep going and keep going. With I don't think everyone is like that. I think in some ways I'm in the minority in that way, where it doesn't kind of rattle my head in a sense, you know, that it does some other people.
And I think it also leads well into the fact that, like, look, everybody's endocannabinoid system is different. And so what you need and how your receptors work are different than mine. And so there is not, it's really about like, and also what strains you're smoking, what strains are specific to the region that you're smoking in.
Right.
And so there's so many different like complexities to this, that there's so much studies that still need to be done on it. But like overall, it's like we could literally smoke the same plant and have two different effects.
No doubt.
By what we've eaten that day, what our previous cannabis consumption is,
body mass,
our tolerance, you name it. And so now it's like we are just beginning to learn more and more about all of this. And it's fascinating. And it's just wonderful to see that there is really, I can guarantee you this, there's certainly something out there in terms of cannabinoids that will work for you. Right, regardless if it's not, if you I don't like Delta 9, you don't want to get high, well, there's definitely something else. There's so much variety, so many different products out there. And you can certainly find something that works.
You've been kind of sticking with the deltas as opposed to going towards like the THCO, THCP kind of stuff. Like, is there a reason for that? Like, what is your kind of philosophy about Delta 8 in this way?
We wanted to just be really patient, right? Like there's no question that like the whole what you call it, like not synthetic cannabinoids, but the bath salts, all of that stuff was pretty prevalent for us growing up in Ireland. And you know, so there's this sort of sense of like, okay, the cat and mouse game between the government and then the producers, and like, oh, just shifting the chemical structure ever so slightly once one gets banned and blah, 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 blah. And so I think it's extremely important to be safe and not just like, and especially as new cannabinoids come out, that they can at least even test for them, right? Like THCO, specifically more Delta 9 THCO is a new product that we are releasing in our gummy form. However, this has been out for a while. When it first came out, people were releasing products without test results because it couldn't be tested, and we're just not interested in that. Right? It's like we want to know exactly how much goes into our products. We want to see the efficacy of some of these cannabinoids. And so when it's like, hey, who wants to be the guinea pig? It's not going to be some owl's stat, or there's not going to be.
There's an audience for that, but it totally takes from your validity. You know what I mean? As a company, as a brand.
Yeah, and also just making sure that not only that, but the next point is like, where do you source your products from? We like to make all of our own products ourselves. We do our own conversions for Delta 8. We've got some of the THCO coming online. And then when you start delving into more technical side of like, you know, THCP, like that we'll have to purchase from somebody else because it just takes a serious amount of chemistry. And so finding those people, making sure that it's accurate, it's corrected, it can be tested, that it's not something else. And not only that, but a lot of disinformation out there, right? People are often saying, oh, like THCO. Well, you know, what THCO are we talking about? Is it like, is it Delta 8 THCO? Is it Delta 9 THCO? Is it Delta 10 THCO? What is it? Same thing with THCP. Is it Delta 8 THCP? Is it Delta 9 THCP? Because that's like saying, imagine you just came to a store and they just said, hey, we got Delta. We got Delta gummies here today. That'd be ridiculous. That's literally what is happening right now with the acetates. It's what's happening with the ferals. And it's literally just like bullshit that is not actually transparent and does not educate the consumers. And God almighty, don't even get me started on the labeling, because then you got these people saying, hey, we got THCP cart. It's 1% THCP. The other 99% is Delta 8. Right? And I'm like, it's just because there's no labeling requirements, right? So people can put on what they want. And so it's like trying to educate customers when they recognize like, oh, the THCP cart that you just bought for $15 is actually just Delta 8 with a little bit of a sprinkle of THCP. And same thing with Delta 10, right? Delta 10 isn't actually really that psychoactive at all. And yet you've all these people saying, oh, I love Delta 10. It's a sativa-like effect. Well, to be honest, if you check that test result, you would have seen it was predominantly Delta 8 that you were smoking, and it was like maybe 5 or 10%, maybe even some cases as high as like 30 or 40% Delta 10. But the predominant psychoactive ingredient was Delta 8. It's like saying, oh my God, you see those new CBD carts? Yeah, whoa, they're fire. Oh, did you see there's actually like 80% Delta 8 and 10% CBD in there? Oh, should that not be called like a Delta 8 cart? Oh no, this is CBD. This is the new shit.
And I think people, because you hear things like, well, THCP and THCO are such and such more times, more potent than Delta 8 or Delta 9. They're like, well, we only have to put a little bit in, but if you're, like you said, discerning consumer, and I think we are, you're looking at this stuff like, you're just trying to get more margin. That's it. Yeah. You don't care about the customer. And maybe that's not the truth, but that's what it seems like you're saying.
But at least even, making sure that you are being upfront with what it is that you're selling to your customers and how much is in there, right? Like if you have a choice of saying, well, hey, I can advertise this is 1% THCP in it, just say that, right? Like, hey, this cartridge is 96% of one compound and it's 1% of the other, but don't be leading people along to say that, like, this is a straight THCP cart, because it's not. And not only that, and the other thing is just like other companies, for instance, like HHC, right? There's 8 different stereoisomers for HHC. So like, it's like 8 different variables of HHC, and those different isomers give varying psychoactive effects. And so when you just have this blanket term HHC, it doesn't really allow the customer to know what it is that they're utilizing. And not only that, but the next thing too is that you also run into, then you've got people who have not checked test results, or they bullshit their test results, and in fact their HHC is just Delta 8. And
wow. We have a whole conversation on just that, honestly, really.
Yeah, and so
break that down.
And so that really just comes back to, like, do you know the brand that you're buying from? Where are they located? Who's the CEO? Or is this, some blanketed organization that you've no idea where they're based, who they are, what their products are, can't see test results? And again, for some people, they can be sometimes more price sensitive and they don't really care about any of that stuff. That's fine. People want access. That's fine. But what we're doing is we are self-regulating. We are setting the standards. We are doing what we would like to give to the industry. And that's it. And so for those that, like, we saw, again, a long time ago, like, we're getting a blessing to be able to sell, psychoactive products. And at the end of the day, we need to do so safely.
No doubt.
So that it doesn't get taken away, right? Like,
right. No doubt.
No doubt. We just had marijuana prohibition for like so long. So it's like, do it safely, right? Have test results. Educate your local, city councilman. Educate your local, members in parliament, whatever it is, to make sure that this business can thrive. Right. Yes. And not only that, but everybody can get access. Because on the marijuana side, even for, like I said, I've even look at our side, like, our issue is really access.
Yeah.
Like, we're getting pushed out of a market that was effectively dominated by, multi-state operators that have no problem paying to play. And then you have like people like, my company, that we're looking after all the patients when they basically had nowhere to get their meds. And so it's like, I think the hemp industry has really given us the opportunity to give back and actually have an opportunity to be a part of this space.
No doubt. Well, let's talk about some of your products. And like, we haven't really talked about like everything that you offer. So on your site, we see pre-rolls, pinners, blunts, all kinds of stuff. So not just cartridges and edibles. Talk about your product line a little bit and how many offerings that you actually have.
We're constantly growing. I think having more SKUs is definitely important. I mean, we've just really focused. So top sellers right now is carts and gummies. And then the flower, we got just absolutely out of this world flower that's going to be released in the next probably like 3 to 4 weeks. And really just trying to set ourselves apart, right? I think the first thing you notice with all of our products is it's all opaque, right? We did that to just like for marijuana, right? We're not like, there's fire on the inside. You don't need to wave it around every time to go, look at me, look at me. You already know what's on the inside. So that was our first, is to make sure that it's all opaque. We're not advertising towards kids and it's discreet, right? Was the main thing. And so, with all of our products, our gummies, from start to finish, ingredients are really important, right? We want a predominantly organic ingredients wherever possible. No artificial colors, no artificial sweeteners. We are not interested in, in all of these blues and reds and all of that type of stuff. We want to give products that are safe, that are healthy. Again, don't know if I can really say healthy, but like, doing our best to allow people to make the decisions for them of what they want to put in their bodies, and they can trust in us that the products that we are putting out will have superior ingredients, superior formulations, and will give you just more safety around your purchase. And so that's really it. We've got our golden owl line, our platinum owl line. Our platinum owl line is cannabis derived terpenes infused back with Delta 8. So now when you're in, DC or you're in Maryland or wherever you are, and you're looking for something, and ideally you want to have something that is tested, it's regulated to an extent. And now we can basically give that same flavor, exact same flavor you try from, a lemon diesel or whatever it is that is now in a vape cart from medical marijuana grows. And boom, you're good. And you can get that exact same flavor profile. So we actually won an award for that at the Hayes Media Cup for best hemp product for that. And
congratulations.
Yeah. And so it's just really sticking to our guns and just sticking to our guns and doing our best to separate ourselves from the competition. And so, whether it's the etching on our carts, every cart has the etching on it, so you know exactly what flavor you're smoking. Nothing more frustrating when you have 3 or 4 carts and then you don't know which one's which.
No doubt.
And
pretty good.
And we also use our unique quartz coils, and that allows you to do low temp vaping that will just give you a superior flavor profile than any other cartridge. And so that's really something where we're really trying to set ourselves apart when it comes to flavor, potency. And that's really something that works. And so, the final product I just want to touch base on is our probably the most I'm excited about is our collaboration with a company on the West Coast called 40 Tons. That's run by Anthony, Corvain, Cooper, and also L'Oreal. And between that team, they are focused on helping out those who have been incarcerated for nonviolent cannabis crimes. And so we are donating 15% of the sales, whether it's wholesale, retail, distro, they're going to get 15% of that. And so that's our 40 Tons collaboration. You can check it out on our website there. 1,200 milligrams in a pack. There's 20 gummies, 60 milligrams each, and that's 45 milligrams. So in that pack, you end up with 900 milligrams of D8 and 300 milligrams of D9.
Wow.
Fully legal. Yeah.
Wow. I may have to buy some of those.
Yeah. And it's the beauty of it, right? People love that because then you're donating to a good cause. Right? So it's like really nice to help out. As I said, coming back to the access, right? It's like there's literally 40,000 people in jail for cannabis, right? Literally the stuff that we're doing right now. And so I think it's important to pay homage and actually give back to those who basically paved the way for us to be successful.
Very much so.
And so yeah, we're a community. We're a community here. We're the parliament. If you didn't know, a group of owls is called a parliament. So we're the parliament, and we're all working together here to come together and help educate and do our best to help this industry to boom.
What's the biggest challenge Owls Wells is facing in 2022?
Great question. biggest challenge right now is really around structure, around releasing new products, and making sure that you stick to your timelines, and that you cash flow is king, right? And so making sure that there's a balance between so for me, I'm super creative. I'm always coming up with new products, and that's great, but you also need to make sure that you have your cash flow coming in for those new products. And so it's been quite a lesson, honestly, just creating lots of products and recognizing when you're building something from scratch, there's just so much that goes into it.
My God,
yeah. And that's the thing when it comes to like a brand, like, no, this is not some like white labeled stuff that you've just picked up and it's the same as everybody else. Like, we are building each one of these product lines from scratch, from scratch. And so that is something that can be a long journey, honestly. But again, the trajectory, right? It's all about the trajectory. And so I'm thinking 20, 30 years, where are we now? Right? Not like, okay, where are we at in the next 6 months? It's like, so just trying to be patience. I suppose that's probably, if we're to nail it down, it's being patient. Recognizing,
you have some patience to be in this business right now.
Yeah. And so just recognizing the fact that, like, you know what, like, we all got to go through our own challenges to make ourselves into the people that we need to be for our future. That's right. So sometimes we can, be very frustrated, upset, angry at like our situation. But if anything, I'll tell you, like, these past 2 years have been character building years, right? Hasn't been making millions these past 2 years. It's been character building years, and really showing your emotional strength, your intellectual strength, all of these things, your resilience. And that is there to set you up to
your character,
help you to meet with like-minded people. Yeah, your character, and really help you to go deep into yourself for, like, who am I? What do I stand for? What have I learned? Or am I going to be a victim and be like, oh, why is this happening to me? Life's unfair, all this crap. And so for us, as I said, the main thing is just having patience with you. We all want to be further along the trail, right? We all want to be at the end. We all want to be sitting on the mountaintop. But it's really about, like, you only appreciate the mountaintop from the work that you did getting there. And so if you were to just get dropped off at the top, you wouldn't have the same, it's like real knows real, right? Like,
no doubt.
It's just, like, even if you think about like someone who's a billionaire, a self-made billionaire, a self-made, 100 million, whatever it is, you can't bullshit that person to go in and just suddenly be like, yeah, I did this, I did that, I knocked out this other stuff. Like, no, they'll sniff it out right away, because there's a level of authenticity around, like, holy shit, like, I grinded, like, I gave myself. And how much are you willing to give? Right? At what point are you willing to say, like, that's it, I don't want to do that?
Even if did drop you there, the first thing out your mouth would be, like, after absorbing it for a few minutes, what am I going to do next? You see what I'm saying?
How do I get down?
Right.
How do I get down? The helicopter's not here.
Right? Like, this was great, but what's next now? You see what I'm saying? Even when you get there, it's always the same thing. Like, well, that was great, but now what am I going to do? How am I going to apply my effort now? Because I've already done this. You see what I'm saying? It's just the human spirit. That's just what it is.
Yep, 100%.
Speaking of human spirit, what's the future for Owl's Oils?
Future for us, I mean, look, we are just the number one brand for quality, right? That's all we are interested in, right? That now, for us, as I said, I think we all measure success in our own ways. And for some, it's like, dollars. And I think, of course, the bottom line is, of course, important, but I want to be more than just that. We want to be more than that. So we really want to be the center of knowledge for educating end users, businesses, and putting out products that are backed by that knowledge.
That's right.
In a sustainable way. And when we're talking about sustainability, I'm not just talking about, like, greenwashing, like, we do this little thing over here. Like, I'm talking about, like, are your business practice sustainable? Is your pricing sustainable? Is, you know, your packaging sustainable? And so I really think that this is going to really be at the center of a lot of businesses, where it's like, if you aren't sustainable in the next like 10, 20 years, like it's just going to be a huge turnoff that people aren't going to want to purchase your products. And so that's really us in a nutshell, just trying to set the tone for what we believe good business is, right? And that, as I said, is looking after your communities, right? It's sharing in the abundance that's there, right? Like we're not interested in, you know, like we want to be at the top, and if we got to get over 100 bodies to get there, then let's do it. Like I'm not.
I feel that way sometimes when you look around, don't you?
I'm happy down here at the summit in peace and you know, doing very well for ourselves. Like I don't necessarily need that. So we are just, you know, learning and growing together in an evolving industry that you know, repeatedly throws curveballs at you.
No doubt.
So now it's just like, need to just like breathe it in, recognize that this is just par for the course in the hemp industry all the time, and just keep the focus, keep moving.
That's it. Well, I'm going to give you the shameless plug. This is a part of the show where we're just the end, where you promote your company, whether it be a sale, promo code, you want to offer people anything that you're excited about. You've already told us how you're helping people.
Great. So, you know, what we'll do is that we'll do a code. We'll do a code. It's Cherry Blossom Hemp, and we'll give everybody 15% off any of our products. And I'll make sure to get that up on the website. We can be reached at owlsoil.com. We just dropped our Delta 9 gummies. Actually, I have a pack of these here. Oh yeah, I do. Got a 300 milligram D9 gummies. Oh, it's gonna blur out on me, but yeah, basically these gummies. Come on, camera. There you go. D9.
There you go.
But yeah, these are 300 milligrams a piece, and guess what? They're legal in 50 states because they're all less than 0.3% by dry weight basis. So now it's like you need the choice of going to, you know, black market untested products, or you could just buy them from a legitimate company and return them if you don't like them, or check test results. You know, it's just a game changer. And so please check us out there. Check us out our YouTube channel, Owls TV. We always are trying to put up educational content. And that's really it. I really want to thank you so much, Derek, and the team over there at Cherry Blossom Hemp. And it's just been a real pleasure coming to talk with you. And thank you for giving me the time today.
You've been fantastic. We want to have you back. I think next time I have you, I want to talk about the different, how'd you say, the isomerizations of all of these newer cannabinoids. I think that is very interesting. I think a lot of people don't know. And I think we could probably just not necessarily a Friday with friends, maybe we'll just do a segment, educational or a live or something like that, but we're actually talking about these things with people.
Yeah, and we are putting together an extensive list, because look, it is difficult even keeping up with this. Like even keeping my staff like up to date on like some of these new cannabinoids, where to get them tested, what type of test do we need, is like we all just need to be a little bit more educated, and we can be, right? So with platforms like this, everybody now has a choice, right? We have a choice to choose what are we putting in our brains, right? What type of content are we putting in our brains? There's really no excuse anymore for, I just don't get this. You can look at these channels, you can go on YouTube. There's so many avenues to learn. And so I think we just
got a computer at the end of our hand, man. You see what I'm saying?
Yes,
it's like crazy.
Yes, you know? Big time. Big time. And so we all just need to do our best to, you know, learn more and contribute, right? Learn more and just contribute. And so I really just, again, want to thank you. And we're certainly, we'll get this other one done. And I've got even a PowerPoint that I could put together, and I could just show people some of these new cannabinoids, what they do, and we'll just go from there.
Yeah, no doubt, man. I thank you. Thank all your staff at Owls Oils for guys putting out quality product. I mean, and I wrote a list of things that I think that I've heard today that I believe your company is about: premium quality, safety, sustainability, community, helping, healing, and education.
Thank you. I really,
You know,
really appreciate that.
Yeah, it's funny because, you know, we interview competition, if you will. You know, and I don't really call it that because it is community. We're all doing the same thing. We're all trying to reach people, you know, and there's enough out there for everybody.
Co-opetition is what I like to say these days. Co-opetition, right? It's like, let's find like-minded businesses. And if there's others that, you know, like, it's like, if everyone can just like be themselves, and like, hey, for some of those are like, no way, I'm not going to hop on somebody's, you know, thing. If they feel like that, that's fine. But the like-minded businesses, we want to thrive together, and we will. We are. It's happening now, right? It's happening now. And so really just moment, recognizing like who's the like-minded, right? Who's the like-minded groups. And then if you can do that, pair together, keep working together, create those relationships. And the long term is like I said, 10, 20 years, you've got solid foundation of different companies that offer different things. And, you know, one hand washes the other.
That's right.
And so that's really how we're going to do it. The value we can all add as being smaller businesses that have grown up and worked with cannabis for decades, no more than the others who just decided to get in because they had $1 million and they just want to put it in. And so that heart, right? That heart is really what is the most important thing. And,
we are the community.
Yes.
We are the community.
Yes, and it's the minorities and the people who've been adversely affected the most that actually hold all the secrets, right? Because they were the ones doing it first. They paved the way. They were ahead of the curve.
That's it.
And so remembering that, utilizing that, leveraging that to our advantage, right? To our advantage is important, right? Is important. And so, you know, we're all here for the ride. And so let's make sure that, you know, that we aren't leaving out those who've been, you know, unjustly punished, lives destroyed, you know, for literally that. And so we're all trying to do our best, little bit by little bit.
Crazy.
And so, you know, I just want to thank you again, right? I want to thank you again, and I know there'll be plenty more for us to do. And so let's just keep the ball moving, and I'm for sure that we'll have something really good coming out.
That's right. Thank you for your time today. Thank you for dropping the wisdom on us. I certainly appreciate it. And we'll definitely
all the best. All right.
Peace. All the best. Have a great day. Thank you.